Everyone dreams of achieving success, and everyone is looking for a way leading to success. Today we have an unusual program. Our guest is well-known consultant and author of best-selling business literature. And I am Aidar Bulatev, and this is Business in Essence. Dr. Ichak Adizes was born in 1937 in Macedonia. Dr. Adizes has a PhD and MBA from Columbia University and a BA from Hebrew University. He is one of the world's leading experts on improving the performance of business and government through fundamental change. Over the past 40 years, he has worked with some of the largest organizations in the world and consulted with many heads of state.
About a month ago, I said that my dream is to meet and interview my teachers in life. Dr. Adizes is one of them. Thanks to his books, I have built many successful business solutions. And I am not alone. Many of our guests, including Leonid Barashev, called the book of Ichak Adizes strategic card in their business decisions. Dr. Adizes, I want to know more about your personality. Are you a scientist or entrepreneur?
I'm an entrepreneuring scientist. In other words, I try to understand how management works, and I try to do it in a scientific way so that it works and it's successful.
Dr. Adizes,
Dr. Adizes, qualities of both scientist and entrepreneur are rarely combined. How did you manage, on the basis of your research, build the business?
I got by failing. I was a professor at the university, and I was teaching management, but I had no experience. I got my doctorate going through the school and then became a professor, no experience. And I was teaching the textbooks. And then somebody asked me to consult. And I failed. And I realized that I didn't have enough experience, that the textbooks are not enough. So I gave up the university, went to the real world to see how the real things work, and then I combined the university theory with experience, and I created a new methodology.
How many years did it take you to create your first basic methodology, which was tested in practice?
Oh, I'm still developing it. It's never stopping. It's never stopping. It's constantly changing, constantly improving. But I started it, it will be now 45 years ago. I started.
How much time did it take for you to achieve success?
It's a very good question, because you have to define uspech, you have to define success. To me, success is when people like you can take some ideas from my books and really make it reality, So you are my success. I'm not the success, you're the success. So when I see people around the world using my ideas to make better management and a better world, I am really touched. So this is my success. I myself, to serve all these people that are doing what they're doing, I myself am just to serve them. That my success is you. You are my success.
Am I right to think that this is the general rule for any theory, and its success depends on the effectiveness of the implementations by consumers?
There are many different definitions of uspech. Is that you cannot succeed unless you implement. That's clear. But you have to good idea to implement. So what you need is good ideas that you implement efficiently. But in order to do that, my theory is, and my practice, so in the reality, is that there is no ideal executive that can make all the good decisions all the time successfully. Maybe he can make once in a while, but continuously, all the time, on every subject, forever, does not exist. And then I found out for implementation, you need cooperation. So again, you cannot do alone. So uspech is how well you work together. Uspech is, success is whether you can build a team and whether this team can work together very well. And all over the world, I use a symbol for the Adizes methodology, which is the hand. If you go to any church, any mosque, even with India, with the Hindu religion, you find that all the saints stand like this. So what is this? This is a blessing. Different, together. Different, together. So uspech is to be together. And the most important finger in the whole hand is not this finger. No, it is this finger. Because this finger works with every other finger. This is the hand maker. If you don't have a thumb, there is no hand. So this is uspech, to be a good integrator, to be a good team builder, to be a good coach. That's what uspech is all about, for good business.
Let's speak about your institute. Why did you call it with your own name?
Marketing. It was the marketing trick, public relations. It's easier to see the speaker, the methodology, and the organization want the same name, then it's easier to promote each other. It was for marketing purposes.
What are the pros and cons of using your own name?
What's good about it is that there's a synergy. Every time I speak, Adizes speaks, it's the institute and it's a methodology, it's one name, it's easier to promote. The disadvantage is that some people believe that it's an ego trip and they can accuse me for being egomaniac, but it's not true. It's nothing to do with me. I don't care.
In accordance with your own theory, on what stage of the life cycle is your company today?
The life cycle of organizations is that organizations grow, age, and die. And there is a certain very critical points in the life cycle which are very critical. One of them is called founder's trap, which is you build a company and then when the founder dies, the company dies. It's also called the family trap. Usually it takes 3 generations for the company to die. And it's a very difficult transition from entrepreneurial management to professional, institutionalized management, independent of the founder. I'm right there. I'm right there trying to make the transition so that the institute does not depend on me so much. And the name Adizes is going to be just like a picture on the wall. It's not a person anymore. I'm right there in that transition, making it happen now.
What is easier, to give advice to other companies or to implement it in your own company?
Much easier to give advice. Advice is cheap. To make it in your own company, that is very difficult.
What is the main market for your company?
Geographically, okay, we have 2 different ways to look at it. One is by geography. And for some very interesting reason, Russia has taken to that, not just Russia, all CIS countries have taken very big to Adizes methodology. They love Adizes methodology. I have an explanation why, I think, but this is our big success. Then we have also Mexico, Brazil, Latin America. USA, they don't listen too much. They are very, never mind, business, no teamwork, just business. So America is more difficult. But Russia, CIS countries, Latin America is very big. Where we are in the life cycle, the companies that usually come to us are 3 types of companies. Companies that are growing very fast, and because of that, they're losing. So how do you put them together not to fall apart? Or companies that are in the transition from entrepreneurship management to professional management, to free the founder from being tied up to the company. Or very large, very, very large companies that are already on the declining life cycle. They're bureaucratic, not moving, slow. So to rejuvenate them, to make them young again. And also we are starting to work with governments, with prime ministers to look at the whole country.
Вы сказали, что Россия является одним из основных рынков.
You said that Russia is one of the main consumers of your services. Why?
Именно в России к вашей теории.
I bring water to the desert. That is the difference. The CIS countries under communism, and before that, during Tsarist regime, it was very autocratic, very single-minded, one person running the show, management by fear. People do not talk, no participation. And I bring just the opposite. I bring teamwork, no single, God, mutual trust and respect. And this is like bringing water to the desert. So people say, wow, thanks God, somebody is bringing, it's like, cold wind in a very hot day. Everybody says, thanks God. So I think the people need to hear this message because they've been depressed for too long. So this is very helpful to them.
Your theory is a blue ocean. As practice shows, the blue ocean little by little turns into a scarlet one. However, I can't remember other researchers developing your ideas. Why? Or am I wrong?
Who is my competition? That's the question. Everybody and nobody. Let me tell you why. This methodology is very holistic, systemic look at the totality. And it has many components. For instance, first component is how, as a team, to diagnose problems together. Not say, this is a problem, no, that's a problem, no, that's a problem. No. What is a problem together? Then how to solve problems together. Then how to define the mission. What are we trying to do together? Then how to build the organizational structure correctly to achieve the mission. Then how to share information. Information is source of power. So how to make the information not to become a power game. Then how to do the reward system correctly. In every one of these, there is a competitor. McKinsey does organization structures.
Yes.
Boston Consulting Group does strategic planning. Many organization development people do team building. Nobody does the totality. Nobody has a total system at the what sequence, how to put it all together and make it happen. Nobody succeeded yet to copy the totality because usually consulting firms are by profession. You have IT consultants, technology, information technology consultants, computer consultants, financial consultants, marketing consultants, human resources consultants. Nobody has total. Adizes has total. I have people, psychologists, I have engineers, economists, even two medical doctors working together for a company. So this is very unusual, does not exist. Nobody is our competitor, and everybody is a competitor.
Тогда кто продолжит ваше исследование дальше? Если
If there is no community of your followers, who will continue your research?
Вашу теорию, кто будет развивать ее дальше?
I have Adizes Graduate School,
Yes.
where we give a doctorate in Adizes methodology. And now we are taking the Adizes program and making partnerships with many universities so they will teach Adizes in their business school, teaching Adizes. And one of them is Kazan University. And now universities are doing research about Adizes. Kazan is doing research, other universities are doing research. In addition to the Adizes Graduate School, when we train people in Adizes methodology to be able to spread the methodology around the world, I have also the institute, when I have 52 consultants that I trained for many years that do my work. So I think I'm free. I'm not alone.
Сколько в России?
How many of your followers here in Russia?
Professional, trained, certified Adizes. We have Russian speaking. We have 3, 6, 8, 9. 9 people, professional.
Поговорим о вас лично.
Let's talk about you. What type of leader are you?
What type of a leader I am? I'm very unusual. I think I'm very unusual. I am an A and an E. EA. Mostly EA. P, I, I'm an EA. Very unusual. Usually people are PE or AI or PAEI, but not EA. I see the big picture and then I systematize it in details, which is very unusual. But that makes it very difficult to work with me. Because I see the big picture, then I see the details. Then I see the big picture, the details. Very difficult.
Согласен. I'm agree. Как вы это
How
учитываете
does
в
it
своей работе?
affect
Свой
on your
стиль
style
управления?
of work?
I'm very good in systematizing things. I see, I understand, then I document and systematize and teach other people to do. And I make very complicated things very simple, which most people cannot do that. I make it very simple because I understand how the system works. So that's what I do. That's how I teach things. I don't know where I got it. I did not learn it anywhere. God has given it to me, thanks God. I can understand and I can systematize things.
How do you combine the development of your theory and practical work in the sphere of consulting?
Theory that is not tested in the field is very dangerous because ideas are cheap. I understand, I develop, and then we go and we test it in the field. So it's called evidence-based theory, so it's really tested. And not only I test it. If I test it, not good enough. Then I teach other people and they do it. Now we know whether it works. So all my theories are practiced in the field by other people successfully. It's not just me.
Вообще вашу теорию можно
Your
распространить
theory can
не
be
только на
extended to the
компанию, но и на
processes in
общество
the
в целом.
economics and
Вот если
politics.
говорить о
What if it's
обществе,
extended in
на какой
accordance to
стадии
the whole
развития
society?
сейчас
At
находится
what stage of the
жизненного
life
цикла
cycle
в целом
is the world
общество и
now?
глобальный мир?
First of all, no system is at one point in the life cycle. You're usually spread around the life cycle. I think that the globe is in two different parts of the world. Two parts. It's not one part, so it makes it difficult to see.
Different parts.
Different part. One part of the world is still go-go.
Go-go.
Africa is go-go.
Go-go.
Africa. Latin America, go-go. All developing countries still go-go, have not developed law and order. Russia also not law and order. We don't have it, it's still a mess. And then on the other side, you have United States, which is declining. Europe is further declining, which is aging systems. So we have young coming up and we have old going down. So it is both. It's not one place. The world is split between the two.
Какие вы бы дали советы?
What advice would you give to the political leaders about development of the global economics and society?
Yeah, I've been working with several prime ministers, not one, many, 8. My advice to all of them is to realize the most important asset any system can have, whether it's a person, company, family, or country, the same thing. The biggest asset that a company can have, a country can have, is its culture. Why is Tartarstan so successful? It's a very successful state in Russia. Why? Because you have the culture of working together, diversity working together. That is what makes a difference. And you go to another part of the world when they're different, Ukraine. You see, in the Middle East, this is called a Hamsa. This is a blessing. Women put it on the chest, people put it at the door. This is a blessing. Different together. And in the Middle East, this is a curse. You put it in somebody's face. So I tell to and this is Ukraine. This is Yugoslavia.
Separate.
This is what happened to the Soviet Union. how this is Tartarstan. You see, I just watched you have a minaret and a church and a Catholic church and all together next to each other. That's the whole idea. Different together. So I tell to the Prime Minister, the most important job you have to do is to be this finger, not this finger, this finger. Unite the people. Create a culture where people not only tolerate each other, respect each other, learn from each other, support each other, benefit from the differences. You see, make it a jungle, not a desert. A desert, everything the same. This is all the same. Look at this hand, all the same. Terrible hand. Huh? No. How do you encourage cross-fertilization, diversity? That is leadership. And that is a role of a parent, a role of a leader of a company, and a leader of a country. No difference. That is the job of a leader of a country. Only recently I was asked by Prime Minister, Dr. Adizes, now we have a financial crisis, credit crisis, economic crisis. What do you suggest we should do? And he was expecting me to give some very sophisticated monetary fiscal policy advice. You know? And I said, no. The most important thing is to be sure that this crisis does not break the people apart. Mutual trust and respect. Be sure that you do not lose respect and trust of the people. That is the most important asset a company can have. That is the most important asset a country can have. It is a culture of living together, although we are different.
Спасибо, доктор Адизес.
Thank you, Dr. Adizes. You said about the place of your school in the system of knowledge. And I want to ask you about the future of Adizes Institute and what scientific works are expected.
Института Адизеса в дальнейшем.
I have a dream which I started 45 years ago. And I did not finish my dream yet. My dream is to change how management is being taught and how management is being practiced around the world. For that, I created 3 organizations, not 1, 3. One is, it is similar to the medical profession. In the medical profession, you have the medical school, where you learn. But there is an association, medical association, that certifies you and watches that you're practicing ethically, and if not, they take your license away. Not the medical school, the association. And then there is a hospital where you practice. I did the same thing. I started by building the hospital first, the institute, where we practice and we learn and we document and we improve the protocols, how to do it right. Then I started 10 years ago the Adizes Graduate School, which is where I train people and give a degree in Adizes methodology. And now I'm starting the professional association. And then, when this happens, when we have some ethical controls and we check how people are practicing Adizes, then I'm going to open the school to the world and teach everybody, and then finished. That's my dream. That's the end of my goal.
Доктор Адизес, по статистике сейчас в России
According to statistics, there is a few entrepreneurs willing to run their own business. How do you think? What is the reason?
Как вы думаете, с чем это связано?
Corruption. Corruption is killing everything. You know, you start a business, it's not a business. You have to know whom to give money, how to protect yourself. And if you make it very big, then the government wants to take it. I mean, it's very difficult to be an entrepreneur in a corrupt environment. So you have to really solve that problem. That is the first big problem to solve. The Russian people are entrepreneurs. Not just the Russians, Tatars, everybody. They're very entrepreneurial. Look how they drive all the time trying to find a way how to get through. You know, you take a Russian out of, I'm not talking about Russian Orthodox, I'm talking about Russian people. You take them out of Rusinsky, I think Yeltsin called them Rusinsky, right? Anybody from Russia. You take them out of here, you put them anywhere in the world, they immediately start a business. They are very smart, educated, hardworking. But the system is killing it, the corruption is killing it. The problem is corruption, in my opinion.
Dr. Adizes,
why did you come to Kazan?
We are starting to teach Adizes in the Kazan University, and then I'm very thrilled and I'm very flattered. Kazan University is going to award me tomorrow my 18th honorary doctorate, so I'm here to get this award and to start the Adizes Research Center, where they're going to be studying the research methodology and applying it and teaching Adizes at the school here. So this is a big event for me. I'm very proud that such a big and famous university is going to really start doing Adizes training in this country.
You have consulted companies around the world. What is the difference between Russian companies, management in Russia, and foreign companies?
Major difference. My experience is that when I work with a Russian company and the head of the company, president, managing director, is coming to the meeting, total silence. Nobody talks. Nobody talks. There is no participation. Tishina, which is not usual around the world. Only here. And my interpretation of it is that Russian management is managing by fear. People are not confronting authority. There is always fear. And if you dare to confront authority, you're in deep trouble. This, I believe, is a culture because there was never democracy in Russia, never. So they were always autocratic. What is bad about it, and I am trying to change that with my methodology, with my consulting, with my teaching in Russia, is that the head is detached from the body. The head of the organization does not know what's happening in the organization. And that's very bad. In medicine, they say, listen to your body, listen to your body. Here, the head does not listen to the body. Mistake number one. Mistake number two. Russian people are creative, smart, intelligent, educated, capable, entrepreneurial. Honestly, when I take a Russian manager as an individual and I put him to compete with any manager in the world, I bet my money on the Russian manager. They're very smart. They're very smart. They're very, very good. So what does it mean? You're not using an incredible amount of brain is not being used. I even have a joke which I told to Mr. Medvedev. A person lost his brain, this is a joke. And he went to buy brain. And they say, this brain, heart surgeon, very famous, 200,000 euros. This brain, Nobel Prize Physics, 500,000 euros. This brain, Russian manager, 1 million euros. I say, why? Because his brain is totally new, never used. The problem here is you have millions of bright, intelligent, capable people, their brain never used. Because of this fear system, because of this autocratic management style, which you need to change. If you change this, Russia will be a powerhouse. You have the people. It is like gold in the earth. You don't open it up. It is incredible. Every individual is wonderful. When they're together, paralyzed, which is very sad.
Доктор Адизес, я боялся вам задавать
At first, I was not going to ask you Blitz poll, but I see that you are a very open-minded person, so I will ask you some short questions.
И я хотел бы вкратце попросить ответов на наш Блиц-опрос. Что вам больше всего
What do you like
нравится в
most
своей
about your work?
деятельности?
I really love what I do, everything I do. I'm not a consultant. A consultant gives advice, you know. No. I am more of a therapist, organizational therapist. I change the culture of the company, and we make the company work together, open. You know, this is like therapy, taking a sick person and making him healthy. And I get tremendous satisfaction from seeing the difference we make to companies, seeing the difference that my associates are making to companies, or even meeting somebody like you when you told me today what you're doing with this business factory. I'm thrilled because it's not individuals. It's not individual incubator, it's teamwork. And people learning how to work together. I am really applauding you. That is my satisfaction, is when I see that I make a difference in the world. That is my satisfaction. And I'm 77 years old, I'm not a young man, but I feel full with energy because it is beautiful to see that we can make a difference.
Существует много научных школ.
There are many scientific schools, but only few of them achieve the same success as your methodology. What is the secret of the success?
Глобального.
Love. I love what I do. I've never worked one day in my life. Every time I work, I say, how God can you love me? Because how can you give me to do something which I love so much? And I get paid for it. I mean, this is... I am totally thankful. I don't know what happened, how it happened. Well, maybe it's because of my parents. My parents always said, if you're happy, we're happy. Do whatever makes you happy. And I'm doing so that's the secret of my success, that I love what I do. I love to lecture, I love to consult, I like to train people, I like to write. There is no one boring day in my life.
Какой самый большой успех в вашей
What is the biggest success in your work which made you feel most happy?
В своей работе?
Some examples, okay? 2 examples. One example, a company in Houston, Texas, an engineering company, and we are leading the process, and people are talking about problems with mutual trust and respect, openly, not attacking each other, diagnosing the problem with respect and trust. And at the end, one person started to cry, really cry. He was an engineer, so I asked him, why are you so emotional? He said, I'm from Russia. That is what I came to America for. It touched my heart. We need to change Russia the same way. People are dying to participate. People are dying to work together. And we need to do that. But that makes me emotional. Second emotion, in Mexico, and by the way, you can see it in a movie, documentary movie, on our website called FRISA, F-R-I-S-A. It's a company that practices Adizes methodology. And in the Adizes methodology, we recommend profit sharing everybody. So that everybody feels like an owner, everybody is committed, we share. We build the company and we share. They don't have to own, but they share the gains, gain sharing. But in Mexico, there is a big problem with terrorists who catch people that have money and then wait for ransom. So this president of the company practices Adizes. He hired a consulting firm to tell him if there is how to protect himself from being captured. And the consulting firm said, the biggest problem you have is that everybody knows how much money you're making because you're making profit sharing. Stop profit sharing. And he told me he did not sleep many nights. He said, what do I do? Do I live with the values you taught me to save my life? Or I put my life in danger and I live with my values? And he decided life without values is not worthwhile living. I'm going to continue. And who do you think is protecting him?
What?
The people.
People.
Nobody touches him because they're one big family. So that also makes me feel very, very good.
Very good example. Были ли у вас ошибки в вашей практике? Можете ли вы
Did you have any mistakes? What was the biggest one?
запоминающийся?
For sure. I was going to diagnose a very big company, and I was arrogant. I've done so many times diagnosis. I can do it with my hands tied behind my back. I did not follow the protocol. I just was too arrogant. I can do it with my hands tied behind my back. And it was a disaster. It was a real disaster. And the president said, stop it, go home, we thank you, we don't need you. And I said, oh my God. Being a professional, you need to follow the protocol. You need to follow the protocol. I don't care how famous you are, I don't care how experienced you are, follow the protocol. So I learned my lesson. It's not very good to be arrogant. Learn not to be arrogant. That's the most important lesson in life.
Dr. Adizes,
What are the main principles in your work?
It's more than a principle, it's a religion, almost a religion. Mutual trust and respect. Mutual trust and respect. What does it mean? Respect means that you recognize the right of other people to think differently. You respect that they have the right to think differently. Why would you do that? Because you learn from differences. So my first principle is to learn from everyone. I learn from my children, I learn from my clients, I learn from my students, I learn, looking at the stones. I learned about life cycle looking at stones. Anything, constantly learn, every day learn. Learn from differences. So I go to different countries to look different religions. I just came from India where I spent in an ashram 2 weeks meditating, all the time learning. And what is mutual trust? You trust people with whom you share your interest. So I always look for the interest of the other person, not my only interest, for their interest. If their interest is no good, then it's not good for me either. So these are the principles, to learn from everyone and to be sure that we are sharing rather than self-interest. This is the principles of my life.
Вы являетесь учителем и для иностранцев.
You are a teacher and mentor to many people and to many companies. Did you have your own teachers and mentors?
Свои учителя и наставники.
You know, I don't have one. Thousands of people. I learn from, honestly, I learn from everyone. I learn from people that clean the streets. I don't care. Everybody is a teacher. Everybody is a teacher to me. I could identify some that are more than others, you know, but there is no one single guru. I learn from everyone, all the time. I would say I like my professors from Columbia, was my chairman of my dissertation. I was writing my dissertation, writing and sending him a new chapter and a new chapter and a new chapter and a new chapter. One day he wrote me a letter, said, enough, you have a doctorate. Because if he did not say stop, I would have still worked on it. And what he taught me is, don't try to be perfect. Don't try to be perfect. Because perfection, best is the enemy of better. Constantly, no, good enough. And the next book, better. and the next book better, and the next book better. Don't try to put the best in one book because you will never finish. That was a big eye-opening for me. So when people ask me what is the best book you have written, I say my next one, because I'm always writing the next and next. You open me up to be saying this is what I am today. Every book is a progress report. It's not the final book. It's a progress report. Next book, the progress report. So it helped me a lot. So I will say he stands out as somebody who helped me clear my head. And then from there on, I learn from everyone. I really don't have a special one individual or one religion or something. I learn from every religion and from everyone.
Доктор Adizes, и в заключение я хотел спросить вас, какой совет вы могли бы дать
what advice would you give to Russian companies? What should they do today to be successful tomorrow?
Never give up. You know, an entrepreneur in America by name Mary Kay that started from nothing, from zero, and built a big cosmetic empire. They asked her, and she didn't have an MBA, she didn't go to school, she was just an entrepreneur. So they asked her, what is the secret of your success? And she said, do you want to see the scars on my knees? Success is not how little you fall. Success is how fast you get up. So never give up. If you fall, get up again. Get up again. Get up again. Because if you stick to it, you will succeed. There is no way you can fail. You will change what you're doing. You will change your model. You will change your business. But never give up. I think that is the secret of success.
Dr. Adizes, сегодня было не только
Dr. Adizes, today was a very interesting interview. It's the first time it was so sincere. I thank you for the emotions that you have given to me and our audience.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the interview and thanks to the people of Kazan.
Никогда не сдавайтесь, двигайтесь только вперед.
Never give up, move only forward. Many successful people give this advice, and Dr. Adizes recommends us to be optimistic. I'm Aidar Bulatov, and this is Business in Essence. You can watch us in internet. Goodbye.
До свидания.